Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining me today. And let me give you a little heads up. If you are wrestling with a business or product idea you want to develop, or if your grown child has entrepreneurship in his or her blood but doesn't know how to get started, this is the show for you. Get a pen and take some notes. We'll also be talking about something that's traditionally a theme in January, getting healthier. While many of us have fat on our minds, a local neuroscientist is more interested in what fat does to our minds. Dr. Alexis Stranahan is going to tell us whether pear-shaped or apple-shaped bodies are best for our brains. And then there's TED. The Garden City's TEDx Augusta event is coming up next weekend. Grace Belangia is the brains behind it all. She'll share details about that and the business incubator she helped shape in 2012. The Clubhouse is a division of Augusta, which is a nonprofit dedicated to growing a culture of innovation and collaboration. Its mission is to inspire ideas, create companies, and build community. It serves over 10,000 people in the greater Augusta area through events and programs. The Augusta Incubator recently got nearly a $500,000 grant to mentor entrepreneurs through a 20-week program called Startup Life.
We tend to love people who are really passionate about the particular thing. So what we want to do is help people develop products that they can export outside of Augusta so that we can bring more wealth into this community. Entrepreneurship is scary. There's no doubt about it. You are taking a chance on yourself, and we're here to tell everybody in Augusta right now that we're ready to gamble on you.
Grace Belangia is a founding member and executive director of Augusta and the Clubhouse, and we're going to talk more about that in just a moment. But first, I want you to know more about Grace and her interesting career path. Listen to this. Grace describes herself as a brainstormer, connector, event planner, explorer, project manager, and social entrepreneur, also a world traveler and writer-editor. That is like the most well-rounded person, Grace.
Well, thank you, Jeannie.
And we both wrote for Augusta Family Magazine. Mm-hmm. I know you've taught at the college level because I've spoken to your class before.
That's right.
And then the Clubhouse happened. How did you start this whole thing?
How did this whole thing come together?
Yeah.
Well, I think I have to go back to a lot of the things that are going on in our community and our culture right now, which is women and balancing their careers and their families. And so a lot of the jobs I was doing was around raising my kids, so the times and the flexibilities. And so as they grew older, I was able to dive deeper into some of my career options. And so going from teaching to writing were very flexible things. And the Clubhouse came up at a time where I was really looking for another community of people to engage with. And because of technology, working from home or working as a telecommuter was really important to building a community in Augusta. And so when the Clubhouse started, a lot of the parallels were, what do we see in Silicon Valley in terms of entrepreneurship and innovation, and can we recreate that in our town? And that was sort of the seeds that were planted for the Clubhouse when I became one of the founding members.
I think that it takes a lot of vision, for sure, to see that potential. And one of the things that has interested me has been the different programs. And I remember one that I'd like to talk about for a minute, the Augusta.
Augusta.
And Augusta, you've done different programs. One was a robotics program, and it's to encourage. Is it STEAM or STEM education?
Well, I think one of the things we found was really, when you think about innovation or entrepreneurship and things that use technology, that it comes down to the people. And so to have classes and programs here made you realize that you didn't have to go somewhere else to find those things. And so having a robotics program here, having a class about entrepreneurship and finance, having a class just for girls in STEAM, really sort of lent itself to saying, like, Augusta has these things available that people coming in from other parts of the country might say, hey, these are happening in my town, or these are happening on the West Coast. And we're saying, well, the Clubhouse is having these things available too. And that's sort of, again, sort of the seeds that were planted to the creation of Augusta.
It's really, it's very exciting, and it's, I don't know, it feels like big city. It just has such a big city feel to it.
Well, I think the thing that we're finding too is especially if you have an idea, like you just said, and you want to execute it, where do you go to have those things happen? Where do you get educated about financing or spreadsheets or pitch decks? You know, we get a lot of people that come through and say, oh, I want to be on Shark Tank. And it's like, okay, well, let's do a mock-up of what that looks like. And there are resources in Augusta. You know, you don't have to go to Atlanta. Again, you don't have to go to Silicon Valley. That we can really sort of plant those seeds here for getting the community behind you in terms of like, well, who are your customers and how do you design a website? Well, we have classes that'll help you design those things. And so really, it's that community. Just like you would think that the Sports Council has a community, the Arts Council has a community. Yeah. Well, this is our tech community.
Are you all listening? Are you listening to this? Are you thinking about your millennial child and how this just so fits into what the world is for them and to what the workplace is for them? It's so much more of a create your own.
Well, I think the thing that we're finding too is, because we do have a lot of young people in our space, some of them are soldiers that got out of the service, some of them are people that lived in Augusta, they moved away and they came back, talking about virtual reality, talking about drones, talking about robotics. I mean, these are really forward-thinking things that are happening right downtown at the Clubhouse.
You can find out a lot of information on the website, and if you go to our website, WJBF.com, just click the Jennie link and you'll find links there to the Clubhouse where you can read all about the different programs going on. One particularly exciting one is what Eric was touching on in the video we saw, and that is the Kaufman Grant. And you have places for 10 people, and it's a 20-week program.
Yeah, actually, what we did was we applied for this grant. There was about almost 800 cities that applied across the country.
800?
800 cities that applied, and we went through a series of deliverables through the Kaufman Foundation, which is a private grant process. And so we're one of 14 across the country that were receiving of these funds. And the program's actually, it's a 2-year program. And so we literally just launched it this month. We have candidates that have come through. And it really eliminates the barriers to starting a company. And so the mantra is zero barriers. And so we have provided housing, we've provided education, transportation, and food. And so our candidates come through and they literally have no barrier to, quote, start their company. They can really concentrate on it. They don't have to have another job. They don't have to have anything that they have to pay for. We can really eliminate those basic living expenses.
Well, Grace also has something else coming up next weekend. She is the organizer for TEDx Augusta. Stay with us. After the break, we'll tell you all about TEDx. I've heard of TED Talk. TED is a nonprofit organization devoted to ideas worth spreading, usually in the form of short, powerful talks delivered by today's leading thinkers and doers. This happens at TED's annual conference in Vancouver. Speakers have included names you all know: Bill Gates, Jane Goodall, and Sir Richard Branson. And then there's TEDx, which is an independently organized event in the same spirit of that whole ideas worth spreading. This is video from the 2015 TEDx Augusta, and these programs bring people together to share a TEDx-like experience. Talks and videos and live speakers combine to spark deep discussion and connection. This is Celeste Headley speaking at TEDx 2015. She hosts On Second Thought on NPR in Atlanta, and she is hosting this year's event that's coming up at the Miller Theater on Saturday, February the 3rd. And your theme this year is venture?
Right, it's venture, it's dare to be audacious.
Right.
And so we really, when we did our call for speakers over the summer, we asked the speakers, you know, what is it that you're talking about that is audacious? You know, what would you venture into in 2018 that you think would resonate with the world population? Because like you said,
anybody can see it.
Anybody can watch these. They even do subtitles for people that don't speak English. And whether you're on your phone watching it while you're at the gym or you're watching on your TV with your kids, there really is a diverse group of talks. And they have it in a way that really resonates with anybody in terms of wanting to learn about education or technology or sports or comedy. I mean, it really runs the gamut.
How do you go about selecting speakers?
Well, what we've done every year is we do a call for speakers. It's basically an application that people apply for. A lot of times it really is those questions. What idea do you have worth spreading? You know, why are you the person to share that idea? What's your background? how is it that you think our community would act upon the idea that you're spreading? And so a lot of times it's kind of a call to action. If you're talking about, health crises in Africa, like what is it that really we could do tomorrow to help sort of like move that movement along? And so every speaker really sort of closes their talk with making it something that really the audience can do, whether they're at the event or watching it, to empower them to make a difference in their community.
And so they can take action right there.
That's really
that's what the idea is.
Yeah, that's really the intent.
Remembering just from reading over the list of this year's speakers, Natalie Schweers is one, and she's talking about investing like a girl, or
financing like a girl, because women look at money differently, and a lot of it has to do with, even as a young person, how do you deal with money? And so she'll sort of share her story about what she did growing up to sort of save money, and how it's benefited her as an adult to make really, really smart financial decisions. And so, of course, men would benefit from hearing what she says, but so will girls in the audience.
Yeah. Who are a few of your other speakers? You have about, what, 16?
Oh, we have a long day ahead of us. It's actually going to be probably over 6 hours. We have 18 speakers.
18 speakers,
scheduled.
okay.
But again, the thing about the TED Talk is that you get in, you give it, and then you get off the stage. So it's really an experience. It's really different from a trade show. They go through an extensive rehearsal process. Most of the talks will be between 9 and 12 minutes. So really it's intended for the audience to really think about what they're saying and then do something from it. So
yeah, I have a friend who's a former news anchor, and she is a coach for TEDx Charleston.
Okay.
She coaches the presenters there.
Well, we have a great local volunteer team. Some of them have been with me since the very first year, and they come back and they help us with the rehearsals, they help us with the production, with the design. So in and of itself, the TEDx community is engaged, and they are the ones who bring us suggestions for people to speak as well.
So some of the ones this year?
So we have Julia Robbins. She's talking about the healing power of horses. And so we're talking about how the horses are working with people that have some mental health issues, and what that looks like. We have Colin Owen talking about a little bit about some mental health issues and some traumas and things, and how to work through that. We have some musical acts coming that'll be playing some guitar. We have poetry, spoken words, always been really, really popular for some people. We have Tyranny Thurman talking about ancestral research.
So it's not like you're sitting in an auditorium and you're hearing lecture after lecture.
Right.
It sounds like it is invigorating, and that it is very stimulating because they're all different.
It is, and I think the thing that we like people to know is that it is an all-day experience. So even the creative breaks, when you're not listening to somebody, in your seat on stage, there'll be some interactive things for them to go on to do between the talks.
When you buy your tickets and whatnot, there'll be breaks for creative snack breaks.
We work really, really closely with Augusta Locally Grown, and so we're going to have some great food samples available for some people. We'll have some innovation things coming out of the Clubhouse with some 3D printers and some virtual reality things. So it's a really fun day.
Let's throw up the graphics so you can tell us a little bit, again, the details. It's coming up next Saturday, February the 3rd, at Miller Theater. The doors open at 9:30, and wow, there's a range of ticket prices. You can get them online. $20, I think that's maybe the student price.
Yeah, that's the youth ticket.
Yeah.
And then we have, we are doing sort of an after party, so that's kind of the VIP level of ticket. So if people want to get more intimate with some of the speakers and talk about some of those things, those are after the event Saturday evening. We have group ticket sales available, so we've encouraged a lot of schools, a lot of companies to take their employees to do some sort of team building and come on Saturday. So the group tickets are also a good deal.
So you can go to that website and look it up. And I hope you have a great turnout.
Well, thank you.
That's going to be a really fun thing, TEDx Augusta. And thanks to you for bringing this whole thing to Augusta, because I know for me, I'd heard of TEDx talks in other places and watched them online. And it's so cool now, that we have this here in our town.
Well, thank you.
Grace Belangia, you are an amazing woman. Glad we have you here. Thanks a lot for your time today.
Well, thank you for putting me on TV.
Absolutely. We'll be right back.